Welcome to Dad's Father's TV Network. I am your host, Michael, and today I have the doctor in the house. I got a painting right here. Okay. So I'm going to shoot at this. The doctor name is Dr. Bo. That's what I'm going to call her through the show. But is Bolini?
Bolanle.
Bolanle
Alade.
Alade.
Yes.
Now, is that English?
It's actually Nigerian. My father is from Nigeria.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yes, very.
So you're a doctor, and we did a show the other day on, what was that?
On the online happy hour
On
at
the online
TMI Radio.
TMI Radio, and we met on the set, and she was my greatest compliment / challenge / conversationalist, and I loved it. So I said, you got to come do a show with me, and it was something very good about the show. But before I get to that part, tell us a little bit about you. You're a doctor. What's your profession? And
So I am an orthopedic surgeon. I am doing my residency at UT Southwestern. I'm actually doing my fellowship in pediatric orthopedics. I will be finished with that fellowship in the spring. After that, I actually plan to travel to take care of another practice and a surgical center as well. But formally before then, I did my undergrad studies in chemistry and psychology. I got my bachelor's in those at Brown University, and I have my master's in biomedical sciences via University of Miami, is where also I did medical school at University of Miami. Is how I got here to Dallas with my residency program after being matched at UT Southwestern.
wow, I didn't know all that. Wow, very impressive, very impressive.
A little bit.
So that's what, 6-7 years of schooling?
Probably more than that.
Yeah, wow, very good.
School, yeah, forever. Yeah, I finished undergrad in '02, then I did my master's '04. Yeah, in medical school, finished in '08, and I've been here since then.
Wow. So guys, ladies who are out there watching the show, persistence allows you to achieve your goals. Persistence. I'm quite sure along the way, Dr. Bo got frustrated, maybe put some of her short-term goals on pause, but now within the calendar year, she said no.
No.
But in the calendar year, she could be at the next level. So, and I say that because being on Dad's Fathers, we get all types of men that comes through the door, but all types of, I'm going to use mothers, baby mamas, wives, side chicks, or whatever. And what I like to identify is the truth.
Right.
It's the truth, because there is no mold that identify what's an ideal woman. And like we was talking on the show Tuesday, correct? Mm-hmm. It was very interesting because you had a mold or a model that really I value. And it was like, okay, guys, ladies, if you make that accident the first time, and you can finish it, go ahead.
Yeah, if you make that decision and you wind up with a child the first time, I guess just like how they say, the first mistake, shame on you.
Correct.
But after that, it's like really shame on, it's no excuse. It's really like that's your fault and you have to take responsibility for it.
And you with that, you was like, on some of the callers, like, well, how many baby mamas do you have, and is this, that, and as I listen, I'm like, that is a very, very good point.
Yeah.
And guys, the one thing, the reason why I brought that up, because if you were in high school, college, you had some alcohol. My personal story, my first child was Crown Royal, drinking too much Crown Royal, and I had an oops moment. So with that, I had my child. But the main thing was, I didn't make that same mistake twice, almost 20 years later. So I'm going to take a quick break. Now you know Dr. Bo, but when I come back, what we're really going to talk about, and our topic for the day would be family violence, since October's Family Violence Month. But the key to it is, how do some women provoke family violence? You're watching the Dad's Fathers TV Network. I'll be right back. Have you ever had a question related to child support, divorce, CPS? Call the Attorney General, or maybe an attorney, and they just gave you a runaround? Where do you go to get help? Contact Dad's Fathers of Texas. Yes, they are child support specialists. Dad's Fathers of Texas can answer your question, help file paperwork, and help find a family law attorney. Dads, Fathers of Texas, making child support simple. Okay, welcome back to the Dads Fathers TV network. I'm your host, Michael, and I'm here with the Dr. Bo. You know, I enjoy Dr. Bo because we are, I think I'm a little older than you, so we're like big brother, little sister. But with that being said, Doc be telling the truth. So she has no idea some of the questions I'm going to ask today. So Doc, I'm going to give you an example.
Okay.
I had a young man come into my office, and while doing pretty much of a settlement of a mediation, something was said and the woman literally pushed him in the face. Now, had he got up and pushed her back, should he go to jail?
No. Absolutely not.
She should not. So he should not go to jail.
No.
Should she go to jail?
Yeah.
Why?
Because she initiated the domestic altercation.
But then our
Keep
law.
your hands to yourself. However, our laws do, I should say, protect and stand behind the woman. But I just think that it's really unfair because I feel that puts the woman, just like I know we talked before, just like it empowers a woman to let her be in control of the situation. And so a lot of people aren't working on the same balance mental frame, so that therefore it can put her in a situation where she's now just doing this because she knows she can get away with it and knows that if anything comes out of it, the law has her back. So I totally believe that it definitely shouldn't be that way, because if she pushed him, I would be on that phone trying to call the police on her.
Right, if it was your brother, you called the police.
Yes.
You know, because
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things I see so often is when the fathers go do child support exchange. They drive up, and that's the purpose of the exchange location, to be in a well-lit area, camera that has some type of surveillance. But more times than not, the father get out, and versus allowing the child to leave her car to walk to the father's car, most of the moms has to physically get out, inspect the car, who's in the car, what he smell like, and all those things. In more cases than not, in my opinion, in my experience for 10 years on the business, that is the spark that what I call explode into family violence. And
because the law again gives that woman that power and that control for her to even think that she can do that, and the man kind of has to be submissive or has to back down, because if he does do anything, just a simple thing can put him in violation how the laws are written.
You know, and the sad part about it, there's so many men that come through the door, they try to be submissive. They try to do the hands up, you know, they try to do that. But unfortunately,
The woman provokes him.
continue to provoke them. So there's so many people out there who are looking at me like, well, this is October, it's Family Violence Month, and you're advocating for men to beat up on women. And that is nowhere near the truth. Because I was raised up with 3 sisters, I have 2 daughters, 2 granddaughters, and I have 1 great-granddaughter. Let someone touch one of them, you know.
Yeah.
But my deal is, in your opinion, tell some of the ladies out there about putting hands on men. Just your own open opinion about that, because we was talking off camera, and there's some women that put hands on men, you know, pretty badly. So give them your 2 cents advice.
So my truest opinion is, if you put your hands on someone, like from the old school, if you hit somebody, you're supposed to be able to take that lick back, and that should be just where it stands. And I know that sounds so bad, but I learned, and like how my mother has taught me, don't hit anybody, because if they hit you back, you can't be mad. So you can't be sitting up there calling the laws. You can't take a punch and then go call the laws on somebody. You should be able not. And it sounds crazy, me saying that, but ultimately, if you think about it, it is crazy. So this is why you shouldn't even be putting your hands on nobody at all.
You know, we're about to take another break. When I come back, I'm actually going to get into some of the core, I hate to use the word laws, so I'm going to say rules and compliance that men has to jump through hurdles through. But I'm also going to share with some of you men who are looking how you can reverse that scenario. Because truth be told, unfortunately, there's so many men losing their rights to their children because they was provoked. And I know it sounds wrong, but they was provoked by the child's mother or their ex-wife. You're watching the Dad's Fathers TV network. We'll be right back.
SBA Investor Ready Business Plans, written in 21 days. McDaniel Consulting is recognized as being business plan writer since 2001. Dallas Morning News, New York Times Magazine, and Women's Day Magazine attest to these facts. Business plans, 214-349-6564. That's 214-349-6564 or www.mcbusinessplans.com.
Welcome back to the Dad's Fathers TV network. I'm here with the Dr. Bo, and you know, if y'all heard our conversation off camera, you'd be totally surprised. Although we're making this topic family violence, how some women provoke violence, although we're smiling about it, we both fully understand this is a very serious topic, but we're looking at it from a father's perspective because, like you said, there's some women should only have one child. What do you say, like they do in another third world country or some country or something?
Yeah, like China.
Well, I wasn't going to say China on the air, but since she said it, I'll echo it, you know. Because, I mean, just share what you think about it, because they're not fit to even take care of themselves,
Yeah.
much alone.
Like ideally, for me, a system would work if they were to qualify the individuals based upon their current situation to see if they even were fit to even be able to have a child. Would eliminate a whole bunch of stuff, because just like the things that we're implementing in a lot of programs that initiate to implement, it would be starting at the infancy, working on the psychological grounding of the person, because it's certain things that need to be in place with yourself within before you're even giving yourself out to a child. And now you're having to deal with another dynamic to deal with the father of the child and his family. And it's so many different things that if you're not grounded within yourself and grounded and at a balance and not as broken, there's no way in the world that you can actually win in this situation. So you just find yourself being pulled and broken and keep doing things that you're not supposed to be doing, hindering the father of the child, the family, hurting yourself, and just is like no one wins. The
Right.
child suffers, your
Right.
child is going to grow up broken, not understanding why they don't have a relationship with their mother or their father, and it's just like you're just creating a cycle. So my thing is, after you go through that one time, you should definitely be looking like, oh my God, this is hard. I don't want to do this again. So the next time someone comes and enters your life, you should be thinking like, I already have a child, I'm struggling or I'm challenged, it's hard. I need to figure out what I need to do to put myself in a better situation so I don't bring another seed onto this earth and help it not grow and make it the best thing that it can be.
Wow, that was very well put. And one question I'd like to insert in that for more elaboration is, do you feel that some women, and I hate to use the word, but I'm gonna use it anyway, are psycho nuts, and is that a chemical unbalance, or is it just someone that's deeply scarred? And I said psycho nut because we all know some of you women out there who are deeply scarred, you act so out of control. I mean, you don't even recognize yourself when you look in the mirror, but yet some of the men are the recipient of your past scars.
So some of it, I think a small minute of the cases might be a psychological imbalance. I think a lot of it probably comes from the social environments, again, comes from them being hurt and no one in their life, or they don't know the actual proper records to go with to actually heal themselves from the relationship. So they're just lost and not knowing what to do. They don't even know how to be a proper person to themselves, let alone a child, let alone a relationship that you have to share and be selflessly with. So it's a lot.
That's a very good point. Yeah, and say that part again, selfless or selfless.
So, yeah, selflessly with.
And if you were to explain that to the average young lady who just had a child, what does that mean in just plain language? How would you explain that to them?
That you would have to be willing to do whatever it takes, no matter if it's something that you're totally against, just so you can make sure that your child has the best opportunity out here. Because if you don't do it, trust and believe no one else will. You have to be the one to do it. So even if the father of the child is the one that's giving you the habit, you definitely have to figure out something that you can make amends so you can do what's best for your child.
Said perfectly from a lady. We're going to take another break. When we come back, we're going to go in deeper in how some women provoke violence and what a woman's suggestion could be to make that path go a little bit different. You're watching Dad's Father's TV Network. We'll be right back.
Attention active duty, National Guard, Reserve, and retired veterans. If you or a loved one was injured while serving our country anytime after October 2001, you may qualify for up to $100,000 in TSGLI tax-free benefits, even if the injury was not related to military service. Also, if you've been denied VA disability benefits for a service-related issue, we may be able to help. Call the James Rolls-House Law Firm. Operators are standing by to assist you. Don't wait. Call the number on your screen now.
Welcome back to Dad's Father's TV Network. I'm your host, Mike, talking to a very, what I call, skillful explanation from Dr. Bo. And Doctor, as we went to the commercial break, you brought up some very interesting points. And one thing I like for you to just take a minute and help some of the young ladies identify, in your opinion, what are some of the things they are doing you think that are creating this anger to make them put hands on a man, and what is the solution?
Well, they're not healing from whatever situations that have happened in your life. It could be something from childhood. It definitely can be something that was in that actual relationship. But you definitely have to make sure that you take the proper records to heal yourself. And there's so many different programs out here. There's so many different ways where you can have accessibility to get help. There's so many different books that allow you to read, to gather up the different things that you as a woman needs to do to help build you, to make you whole. Because every time you go through any type of adversary in life, a piece of you is broken off. So you kind of have to work on gluing yourself back together so you can attempt to be whole. So you can be whole to your child, so you can be whole to whoever else is around you, your family members, any type of relationships need to be whole fully.
Right, because, we as men deal with situations differently, because we can go from an emotional situation, shut down, and then rebuild. I think that detachment is a little different from a woman's perspective. Is that safe to say?
It is.
And with that, I know of some females who would jump out of one relationship, then jump into another relationship, and typically that's the one where they get a child. And then all that anger of the mistake being made, all the anger from the previous relationship that just never was addressed, then on top of that, the man maybe was in it only for the sexual pleasure only and not for the family responsibility side of it. Now, the third guy, for lack of better words, received all that rage.
Yeah.
That's my male assessment. Is that pretty?
No, it is. And again, that's why I said it's very important that going from relationship to relationship, you actually find out what exactly is going on within you. Like, because a lot of people have different deficits happening, and it could be something that they have issues with their father. It could be different relationships that they had with past friends, past relationships that they haven't completely healed. And it's like that psychological thing when you're focused on something over here, you don't worry about the stuff that happened over here. So it's that when this fails, then it's like the snowball effect, because this is failing. Now you have all this stuff that you should have worried about over here that you never worried about, and it makes you just completely collapse. So now you're in a state where you're just lost, and you're just basing yourself off of emotions and not logically looking at what actually you're supposed to be doing.
The sad part about it, ladies, from a father of 30 years, I know when we as men cause you grief and headache, and we're about to take another break, But I want you to think about while we're on break is, think about all that you are creating, all that you're doing to yourself, but yet you got a youngster or a young child watching and mimicking your actions, your behavior, and the way you deal with adversity, challenges. What are you teaching that child, via male or female, boy or girl, whatever you want to call it? What are you teaching that child how to deal with life challenges? When we come back, we're going to jump into that, because being a father and a brother, I mean, I saw my sisters cry, but never them jump up and put hands on a man because of previous relationship, because we addressed that issue. You're watching the Dad's Fathers TV Network. We'll be right back.
Do you find yourself worrying about those balding or thinning areas? Then you need Miracle Hair, the 60-second all-in-one hair solution for men and women. Just sprinkle Miracle Hair on the thinning or balding areas you want to cover, and you'll have the appearance of a full head of hair.
Call now and get Miracle Hair for only $29.95. Be one of the first 500 to order, and I'll send you a second Miracle Hair absolutely free.
Call the number on your screen to try Miracle Hair and reclaim your confidence. Call and order now.
Welcome back to the Dad's Fathers TV Network. I'm your host, Michael, here with Dr. Bo. And we have a very good topic going here, and I'm going to repeat it to you again. It's family violence, how some women provoke violence. And as we've been talking, a lot of it is called of their past emotional scars. But now what we want to talk about, okay, ladies, you ladies are doing these things to the father of your child or children. Well, they see you. What are you teaching this child? It's okay to mistreat adults. It's okay to mistreat her brother, sister, disrespect adults. I mean, what do you think about that?
You're basically breaking down the relationship that your child will eventually have with their father, or if it's the mother's case, but most of the cases is with the father. And you're teaching them not to respect their father, so therefore one day that child is going to grow up and want to have a relationship with their father and realize that the reason that their relationship was tainted was because of you. And then you'll really have to sit there and take on all what you put your own child through, when it could be all easy if you just logically look at what's best for the child. And don't put your emotions into the decisions when you're dealing with the father of your child.
I always tell the guys the triple R's: relax, rejuvenate, release.
Yeah.
Because if you allow yourself to relax, take a moment to rejuvenate your thoughts, and then release all that tension before you get up. Typically you can stay calm. Now, that is exceptionally hard when the mother of your child, and I tell the guys all, the mother of your child or your ex-wife is one of the most difficult things a man has to deal with, because even though he has detached and moved on, he still do not want any harm to come to her. But she's also the one that pushed those buttons to make the rage in him come out the biggest. So it's just so weird. So with all of that, I guess in your female opinion and non-professional opinion, why do you think so many females put hands on men like they do?
Because the law allows them to do it. Literally, like, they make it so if the woman has a vindictive heart, she's going to get away with it every time. The law is set so it protects the woman, so the woman can just do something and the man responds lightly and he's at fault. And so a woman knows that, so a woman's going to continue to do that as long as she has that on her background, but I should say back supporting her. But ultimately, you should want to look at it like, if that is somebody that you chose to have a child with, why would you want to let your child go without having that other person in their life? Because ultimately, the biggest picture is, if the child does not have a connection with both parents, your child is going to be broken growing up, and they're going to live in a broken life as adults.
You know, it's funny, and I'm going to bring up something you said off the air as relates to having a child by someone. Like you said, that person's not promised to be here tomorrow. You know, and finish how you said that, you know.
So I was raised to, as a woman, we definitely don't need to be having children unless we know we can have the child by ourselves. And when I say by ourselves, meaning mentally, physically, emotionally, and most importantly, financially. Not saying that the man won't be in your life, but you never know what life will do. Your husband, the guy that you're with, can become disabled. He can pass away. It can be something where he's taken from you, where now, if you weren't ready in the beginning, you're going to be at a default and struggle. Whether that's emotionally struggle, mentally struggle, financially struggle, or physically struggle. So you definitely, we as women, we have the power to know that, as my mom said, we shouldn't even be laying down unless we're ready for that responsibility as a consequence.
Right, so we got to wrap the show up, and I really appreciate you coming on the show. But ladies, what I would like you to take away from it, I created this topic so it's very controversial. But as you can see, I'm not badgering women and stuff. I'm really trying to get you to understand, sometimes if you take a minute and think before you react, you will not provoke the situation where you have to touch the man or he snap and put hands on you. Because at the end of the day, I don't worry about you, I don't worry about him. We will rebound as adults. Our children, they will suffer. And I've been doing this for 10 years. I saw children really fall apart. So take away from this, ladies, family violence. Do not be a woman that provoke violence, but instead,
encourage the relationship.
There you go, straight out of a woman's mouth. I can't say it more, and I'm going to end it on that. You've been watching the Dance Father TV Network. Dr. Bull, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
We'll see y'all next time. Have you ever had a question related to child support, divorce, CPS? Call the Attorney General or maybe an attorney and they just gave you a runaround. Where do you go to get help? Contact Dads Fathers of Texas. Yes, they are child support specialists. Dads Fathers of Texas can answer your question, help file paperwork, and help find a family law attorney. Dads Fathers of Texas, making child support simple.